Welcome to the Athletic Skills Podcast, the show where we help sports coaches and PE teachers learn how they can impact their athletes' movement, physical development in a fun, practical way. I'm your host, Isaac, founder of Athletic Skills, and in today's episode, we chat to Bernat Torras, who is an international padel coach. Bernat shares his knowledge of what makes a successful padel player, how advanced and beginner players may differ, and what key movements are vital in padel, and why fitness and developing strong movements is important for padel development at all abilities. He also shares how centres and players can get involved to develop themselves and players that come to their centre to help grow the game in their area. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review if you enjoy the show. Now let's get started. This podcast is brought to you by Brendan Chaplin Business Coaching. Brendan guides coaches and service-based entrepreneurs deliver their best work, build a seven-figure lifestyle and performance business, and create a life of freedom. I started working with Brendan in September 2023, and it's been a great journey since I started working with him in launching my own business, Athletic Skills. Brendan has been fully invested in me and is a great person to chat with, to share ideas, and has vast knowledge and experiences to share also. The reason I picked to work with Brendan is that he has done it himself, launching businesses, and has a similar background to myself in S&C and wants to live a life that you want. If you want to speak to Brendan on how he can help create a life of freedom and guide you on that journey, get in touch with him by one of the methods in the show notes and DM him the word coach, and he will start the conversation. You won't regret it, and there's a good chance it might just change your life too. Hi everyone, welcome to the Athletic Skills Podcast. I'm delighted to have Bernat on with me. So Bernat, thank you very much for joining. You're an international padel player, or you was an international padel player. So can you tell about your journey and then why you're passionate about padel tennis and what things you've got coming as well?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to share with you and with everyone my experience and my point of view about padel training, teaching, and yeah. So I'm a padel coach. Before I was also a physical education teacher, a PE teacher in Spain. Now I live in Sweden, and in the last 2 years I've been coaching padel around the world. And let's say like my mission today is that try to help padel players to understand how to play better, what they can do in order to perform, but always actually with players that they don't have a racket background. So they need first to learn how to move. They need to learn why they need to move like this or like that. And from here, I like to see how they manage to play.
What's padel like at the moment in Sweden? Because I know it's grown massively in the last few years, especially in England where I am. And I played it a couple of times in Spain when I've been over there. So what's padel like in Sweden at the moment?
I live in Stockholm. I'm not sure how it's in the rest of Sweden. I think it's similar. But let's say like now it's in a stage like people that they really love padel, and they like to compete. So are the players that they keep playing, they join the tournaments and also trainings. And the players that they played during like the first years that padel was growing here, I think they stopped playing. And I have my theories why. I think one of the reasons it was because of lack of coaching, because it's a really new sport here. We don't have a big amount of coaches, and also padel centers, they have a business more focusing in booking courts and more like less education, like less focus in the having an academy. That's my reason, because when you know what to do and how to play, I think it's a sport that you want to keep playing for many years.
And just a quick intro on, if anyone that's unsure what padel is, I haven't seen what padel is, what is padel tennis and how is it different to normal tennis?
So it's normal basically because you play in a really small court compared to paddle. You are in a cage, play with your partner, you play 2 versus 2 in a cage similar to a squash court. So it's a mix between tennis and squash in terms of that, of the space and the where you play. Yeah, basically you have a small racket that you cannot produce massive power like in tennis. And then it's when it's more important to know what is your position on courts and to be aware of where you put the ball. And it's something that it takes time for beginners because they are so much focused in how to hit the ball. Because in tennis, it's so important. If you hit the ball with power, normally after one, two, three, four shots in amateur level, you will win the points. But here, because you are in a cage and you can use the walls, sometimes you play with more power than you had to do, and then the opponents they can keep playing. So it's really important to understand these things to adapt. But yeah, this is paddle. Let's say.
And it's on the rise, I think. Definitely it's getting more popular. And I definitely think it'll be in the Olympics as well in a few years' time. I can see it. So, as you've coached all different abilities from elite level down to beginners, so why is paddle really growing? So, what does it appeal to these sort of different sort of levels of people?
The first thing, I think it's a sport that gives you really funny and good moments because of that fact that you can play with the walls. So the points they are longer than in other racket sports. You have the chance to hit the ball quite often. So that this is the first thing. A small space, four players, the walls. So with only one, two steps, you can reach the ball. So you interact a lot with the ball, which is so important. In other sports like football, you can play a match and maybe touch the ball a few times if they don't play to you or many factors. Second thing, the technique to hit the ball, it's quite easy because the racket is small and it's next to your hand. So the hand-eye coordination is quite easy. It's like hitting the ball with your hand. And the third factor is that it's social. So you want to play not only to have fun on court, also to meet up with colleagues, friends, family. So it's a bomb. So that makes paddle really interesting to everyone that plays.
And as you've seen what successful players look like and what and beginners when they're just starting, so what makes a successful paddle paddle player, and what you're asking for those beginners to do to get to that successful level?
I think first to understand that you don't need to hit the ball with many power, because if you do that, you will need to be fast and quick taking decisions. Second thing is that you need to be active and have a plan to know what to do. So when you start playing, if you have a coach or you watch videos on YouTube or you try to understand better what is the simple tactics, then you can focus in simple things. So you don't try to hit the ball anywhere. So with that two things, you are active, play simple, you will keep learning because the points they will be longer. But if you don't know that, you will hit the ball with extra power all the time, trying to make winners, and the points they will be really short. So it will be difficult for you, your partner, anyone who is playing in that match to keep learning. So a successful player is a player that is active, tries to be in the right place, have a good, how it's called, like time space orientation. So you can read the ball, move in time, and then hit the ball in the best conditions. Instead of focusing hitting the ball, you focus more in moving to be ready. And then also, of course, the mental part, confidence. You need to be confident to get closer to the net, to hit volleys. You need to be confident to use the glass. That it's a technique that when you start, it's not that simple, but when you see it, it's very important. But yeah, it's any learning product, any learning progress. You need to learn, fail. I think, yeah, this is how you become a better player, let's say.
And then as you're playing doubles all the time, it's working well with your partner, having good communication as well,
Correct.
I'm guessing. And as well, from a physical point of view, from playing it myself as well and seeing other players and working with a few players, there's a lot of speed and agility, so ability to change direction and react, and reaction speed, but also endurance, to be able to play long rallies and then long sets as well, potentially, and keep that intensity
Great.
going for a long period of time. Because I guess you'll see from a movement perspective the differences in how people move from the beginners to the people that have played it a lot more. You'll see that quite difference between those key movements that you mentioned.
Yeah. That the players that they have more experience and they play better, normally they have all these capacities that you mentioned. Like they can play longer points physically and also mentally. It's all connected. So they know, okay, I need to play this shot to defend, and I'm ready to play one or two more shots. Because if I don't have the endurance to keep playing, you will try to finish the point faster. That's why it's important. A minimum physical condition. Same thing. You need to be really good in deciding when to run, like in every sport, like the timing, the tempo. It's not running all the time, and it's not being still and not moving. So that's easy to say, not easy to do, because it's at the same time connected to your understanding of the game. If you know what to do, it's easier to be in a flow and like attitude. You activate, you are ready to move, you're ready to sprint, you're ready to jump. But if you don't have to do it, play easy. Same thing. If you don't know how to jump, or you are, how you say, like you are scared to jump, because some people they can play, but you also need to jump. You need to slow down when you sprint. But if you don't train at the gym or anywhere and you only play, many times you will give up consciously because you don't have the capacity to sprint, to jump. So then it's something that I believe that if people they would train a bit more, not only play, because we see many players they only play, and they would enjoy the sport even more, and also reduce the risk of injuries, because it's really common to see people with pain in the elbow, pain in the hips, and it's because they don't have the strength, yeah, to play that much.
No, I agree. And I was just going to touch on that, on why you think fitness is important for those starters and some the beginners, but also the ones who've been playing a little bit longer, and like you mentioned, helping reduce soreness and injuries and niggles that people might get, and then they can play more often. But also from a performance point of view as well, get better, be more agile, reach play for longer points, be faster to the net, and so on. Is there any other reasons why fitness or key fundamental movements is important for those paddle players in their performance?
Yeah, it's essential. Two main reasons. First, performance. Second, reducing injuries. Performance, for example, if you want to smash, if you want to make a winner, you will need to be able to produce power, like explosive power. You need good coordination to use the power from your legs, from your lower body, connected to your core. So that's the important reason that people that they play and they cannot make a winner, it can be frustrating that you cannot play power. I had some group of ladies and they asked me, Bernat, can you help me? Can you teach us how to smash? And then the first thing I asked them if it was if they can throw a ball as fast as possible. So I asked them and they couldn't. So then I tell them throwing a ball, it's similar to smashing a ball if you want to do it faster. You need to use your lower body, the rotation, the coordination that some people they don't have it because they are used to train at the gym with low intensity, let's say classic gym training like for fitness, like wellness. So then they don't know how to produce. And the second thing is to reduce injuries, because if you are hitting the ball and you are not using your core and your body is not coordinated, because you are not lower, because you don't have the capacity, the physical capacity to stay low, then you are tired and then you are tall, because you are not having a good stance position. So you are blocking your hips, you're blocking your shoulders. So you're not having a natural movement when you hit the ball. And you fix it, or you try to fix it playing only with the wrist or with the elbow, like only with the arm, probably you will end up having a pain. So that's why it's important to train and also to take lessons, like a mix. If you want to play longer for many years, and yeah, enjoy paddle.
And I just want to touch on that example that you spoke around about those women that couldn't smash and that you said they couldn't throw. So, what strategies as a coach did you use to try and develop their smash after that? After you didn't see weren't using their lower body, they weren't rotating. So, what things as a coach did you do to try and develop a smash and that movement that you mentioned that they were lacking in?
I need to teach them how to prepare your body to hit, like to check how is your stance position, how you to check your lower body. That's the first part for me. Is the root of your body. It's how you create power. If you want to throw a heavy rock, I tell them. I try to use examples. If you want to throw something really heavy, or if you want to carry your baby or kid, normally you have a stance that's wider. You are a bit more flex. Okay, try to simplify the language and the explanation. And after that, I ask them to do something simple, like throwing the ball, because it's easier than reading the ball, moving, placing yourself, timing again, stop and hit. So basically, I show them to understand why they can't smash, proving them maybe with that exercise, throwing a ball with your hands in a comfortable position. And if they can't make it, then they listen when I tell them that probably they need to do a specific training at the gym, like explosive. And if they are not ready to do that, then of course I tell them that they should find a professional coach to that they trust, that they can follow, and then they can do this specific training to improve that movements or that specific movements that you need in paddle.
So, as well as the smash, what are the key movements would you say that you see that paddle players need? You mentioned acceleration to the net or deceleration to stop and rotate. What are the key movements would you say there are?
Key movements, and you need to be able to move quite reactive. So you need to be light on your toes. Try to be, yeah, ready to move all the time, because sometimes you need to move backwards, forwards, to the sides. One important movement for me is the pivot, like you do a lot in basket. So you need to be able to pivot in only one of your foot. That's why you need to be light on your toes. So sometimes you can do that sliding your foot on the ground. Sometimes you can do it like stepping. Second important movement is lateral steps. So important all the time, because if you do that, you are not crossing your feet. So then when you hit the ball, you can rotate and use the power from your body. And yeah, and then of course, in a more advanced level, to advance, you need to be able to jump, and I don't know how you call that, like, to absorb the impact, because you want to save a ball if you don't want to miss the net. Because if you don't know paddle, it's important to keep an attacking position when you're at the net. So if they try to pass you with a lob, so sometimes the only way is jumping, and then you need to be able to do that. And that's it. That's the most important about movements and about how to hit rotation and rotation, because people, they have issues that they block their shoulders, they block the hips, and they don't have power, and then they use only the arm. So I would say that's that. Of course, throwing, it's a capacity. Should be able to tense and relax in the right moment. That's it.
So
I
let's
would say.
just touch on an example or a case study. So I want to talk about the lateral steps. I think that'd be really transferable to other sports as well. So any athlete who needs to work sideways. So let's say you've got an athlete who struggles to work laterally. What key things as a coach are you looking for? And then what drills might you start to implement to try and develop that person's lateral step or lateral movement?
Do you mean like on the paddle court or like playing, or do you mean
Uh,
outside?
like just in a training session and one of your paddle players who's struggling to move laterally, what key things are you looking for in terms of their technique or their actual movement, and then what drills maybe might you start to implement as a coach?
I can ask them to try to defend from one point to another point. So I ask them to move in a lateral movement. Then I check how they do that. And I explain to them that they don't have to step in to hit the ball. Of course, I explain to them that you need to use your body weights to transfer to the ball, but sometimes you don't have time to do that. And sometimes you need to stay in a lateral position. So maybe a drill is like going right to left, and I pass the ball and they need to hit. I pay attention in the footwork, not in the racket, how they hit, let's say. And then I can also show them that they need to lean in one leg and then the left. I see many people, they have a lot of mental limitation, that they have pain in one side, or maybe they don't have the right coordination, or maybe a weak side, maybe a glutes, that they don't have the balance, let's say, in one side. And they fix it. How? With the step. They cross the leg because they want to use the same leg. So then doing that drills in a really low intensity, that they feel they can make it. They don't rush. Like when you play, I pass the ball next to them with the hand. They go side, stop, hit. They go side, stop, hit. And then they start feeling more comfortable. And when we play, somehow they can understand that they should do that. It's not that easy. You don't change that in one day, but at least they are aware. Okay, I understand why I cannot save that balls, because I'm crossing my feet all the time to compensate this lack of power balance in that side of my body. Yeah, drills. Sometimes I ask them to go backwards. If I see that they go backwards, like with little steps, so we can create an exercise that they need to follow like some cones. So they need to do wide steps. They need to be low, and step by step you do that. I try to combine exercise that you improve your technique hitting the ball, but also you improve your footwork. Because for me, the footwork in paddle is so important. It's more important than how you hit the ball. It's connected, but the footwork is key. That's why you see athletes that they play football, for example, or basketball, and in only a few paddle matches, they can beat people that they train a lot paddle, because yeah, they have the skills to move, to react, and they just put the ball in. On paddle in tennis, the winner is the last team that pass the ball over the net. That's important.
So you mentioned you're not looking for people to cross their feet over in that lateral movement. So what are you looking for in their footwork for someone to move sideways?
Sometimes, yes, that's a big discussion in paddle. Some coaches, they say you never cross. I don't believe in never or always. I don't say that. I would say if you have the time, don't cross your feet, because then you will be already in a good position to hit. But if the ball is surprising you, or you need to run a longer distance, maybe you do a crossover, you sprint a bit, and then you do the last adjustment steps. So I think you can see the pro paddle players that they all type of steps. The important for me in amateur players is that they know why they should do that. I should cross, I shouldn't. When? If you have time, for example, you don't, I think that they shouldn't cross. You can stay with lateral steps. So then you're in a good position. But if you are late, sometimes it's fine. And I analyze videos from the players, and I see that sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. When they play them a fast lob, they do cross step, crossover, and then they do lateral steps. When the ball is so easy for them that they know they will take it, they just do lateral steps. I think paddle today it's evolving because of the new balls, new rackets. Like every sport tends to become faster. So today more cross steps, but it's something like more for the performance.
And like you said, footwork's so important. I've seen in a few games before where the lesser people with the poor footwork, they're always running around the court trying to catch up with the ball, and the more advanced people always seem to be in the right position. They seem like they've got more time as well, so it's quite a good way to see the differentiation between the abilities as well. Let's just touch on to finish with why you're passionate in terms of helping paddle players and centers and what we discussed prior, and what your goal is now going forward as a coach to help as many people as you can.
So my main motivation when I teach paddle is to help people to understand how to play better, and with that, also at the same time make them somehow have a more active life. I believe that if you are good at something, you will do it again. So if someone is more confident playing paddle and knows how to play, will do it again. And it's all connected. If they play better, they will challenge new players, and probably they will think about what they eat. They will think about training. Like they will see that it's important for them if they join a competition, even if it's social competition. So one of my main motivations is to help people to play better, to have a healthier life. And yeah, that's my mission. And I'm trying to use my experience, my knowledge in paddle, and also movement and training. And that's what I do. I focus a lot in that. And today, that's my mission.
And then, so how can paddle centers? So I know you mentioned you're looking to support paddle centers. So how can paddle centers be at the center of that and help drive your mission forward?
So, what if they contact me and they see value in that? Like they can invest in bringing me and myself as a coach in the paddle center, and we can offer to players in the center sessions, training sessions. I think with that, the players they will have the chance to learn the basics, the fundamentals. Uh, it will be easier for the paddle center to promote more activities, and also to make players to be more excited to play again. So it's a win. Everyone wins something. So centers, if they want to do like a special week, like a weekend training, we can do workshops, we can do group training, individual. Also, I'm ready to coach other coaches that they would like to know the basics. They want to start in paddle. I know that in the UK, there are not many. Normally, they come from tennis. I think that's the way I would like to help. They could contact me.
Yeah, and the more people or the more players you're showing to enjoy the game and you're having success in the game, and not getting injured as well, they're more likely to come back and play paddle for longer. And so the center's going to have more people coming in. And like I said, more people are going to be active and healthy as well. So if there's any centers or players or coaches that want to get in touch with you, how should people get in touch with you to find out more about your coaching and your support?
Yeah. So, well, I have a project. It's called the Padel Row. That project you can find me on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, you can send me a message there. The website it's in process. Yeah, easy. You can send me a message. We can have a call and discuss how to adapt to your needs and to your center. Yeah, you can find me there. The Padel Row. Yeah. We are
Yeah, now
online. We can host people in Spain, in Valencia City. We are ready to host players that they want to come for a week. So we have the paddle center ready. Myself as a coach, I know the coaches in the team that they are ready. At the same time, of course, we can visit and go to that centers to help.
Yeah, and I'll put your contact details as well in the show notes. So if anyone wants to get in touch, they'll be in the notes below as well. But Bernat, thank you very much for your time. It's been great to talk about your passion around paddle tennis, and I really like your mission as well of using paddle tennis to helping more people be more active and improve their fitness as well. So thank you very much for your time. I look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Isaac, and I hope to see you soon. And it's really great what you are doing, trying to help people to understand that the sports, they are fun, but it's also important to take care of your body and train and get ready for it.
No, cheers, Bernat. Thank you very much.
Yes. Bye bye. See you soon.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Athletic Skills Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our discussion and found it helpful in learning more about impacting your youth athletes' movement and physical development. If you did enjoy this episode, please take a moment to give us a subscribe and share to any other coaches or teachers you think it may help. Also, if you have any feedback or topics that you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on social media or on the email in the description. And we'll be more than happy to try and tackle those challenges you are facing as a sports coach or a PE teacher. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. I look forward to speaking to you soon.